First sort of general question for you all, hopefully this won't take too long, is I kind of wanted, well, me and Emily both wanted this to be sort of a reflection of showing films from YouTubers, people who started video blogging, they've gone into filmmaking, and people who came from the other side. So what's the difference, you guys think, between a YouTube filmmaker and a filmmaker who uses YouTube / the internet? Anyone take it?
Well, can you guys mind if I take this one? I think I'm probably the only one on this panel that went from indie filmmaker and transitioned over to YouTube, because I know Charlie, Tim, and Jack, you guys all have great channels and kind of transitioned over. And so for me, what I've seen is that the YouTube filmmaker is a lot more grounded in who you are and your personality. I think a lot of it is you on the screen, and even though filmmaking is intensely personal every time, I think we're always putting ourselves in our work. For a YouTube filmmaker, it's like you're there. The product is you in a lot of ways, which I think for a lot of indie filmmakers is incredibly uncomfortable, because once I started putting my work online, I started vlogging at the end of them sometimes, and I'm not very good at that. I'm not a comfortable vlogger, and that's how I feel like I'm not necessarily a YouTube filmmaker yet.
Well,
Good job. No one else needs to jump in. Find you. Okay, right.
No, I was just going to say, I think I've got it right. YouTubers, an integral part of their work, and often putting themselves in it in order to tell a narrative. And I see that as like a bit of an easy way out. Like, I don't know how else to tell the story other than to put myself in it somehow and just sort of, say what I'm trying to communicate. And you see that if you watch a lot of YouTubers' films. Rarely the film happens without them appearing in it at some point in the film. So yeah, I admire you guys being able to communicate a story without putting yourself in it. That's cool.
So do you think, because obviously VidCon is very YouTube-y, but do you feel like YouTube is definitely the best place to be releasing short films? Because Jeanette, your film is on Vimeo. I don't even know if you have a YouTube channel at all.
No, I don't have a YouTube channel at all. I'm definitely a Vimeo person. I was telling you before, it's strange because the film that we showed here is not quite the kind of thing that I normally do. Well, what I do, you guys wouldn't be able to see here. It's a little bit on the racier side. But it's strange because I feel as though Vimeo is a really good platform specifically to get into the film industry, but not necessarily to get views. I think that one of the best stories that I've heard in terms of the comparison is essentially like the baseball scenario, in which case if you want to hit a home run, then you go to YouTube, but then if you want to basically just kind of progress your career forward and get the right eyes on it, it's as an industry, as the film industry is concerned, the festival people are concerned, they usually keep their eyes closer to the Vimeo channels because it is a smaller community, and so it's much easier to get the right eyes on it. But it's not as much of a, you don't get as many views. You do not, it's also not the kind of space which is, you can get monetized immediately like you can with YouTube, so you don't see the direct results, but with Vimeo you do. It is, I think, much easier to advance your career as a filmmaker and participating in like the traditional filmmaking world. That being said, the filmmaking world is expanding so much and changing so much because of the online platforms that there's a lot of just different areas of exploration that it's going to change a lot in the next 5 years.
I was more into it when I was still at university, but like there's also just still at the moment a slight bias I find just to the very fact that it has been released online. Like there's still that like film festivals want exclusive things, like which I think is changing because they're becoming more open to it. But like
for short films especially.
Yeah, exactly. Like once you're delving into that realm of like I want to see what a film festival thinks of this. Like whether it's YouTube or Vimeo, the very fact that it's available online used to be a massive deterrent for them. But I think that's changing.
75% of film festivals accept online content.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if anything, it's nice to not necessarily have to post a DVD now. I think that is the way forward. But yeah, I just thought I've always found that slightly frustrating with more traditional routes in those sense. Like because I'm all for online video, obviously.
YouTube is you feel as though what you do, you have a connection with the person you're watching. Take Bertie Gilbert, for example, he was a YouTuber, still is a YouTuber, and made a lot of videos before that, and I watched his videos. He was one of the first guys I watched on YouTube. And I suppose it shouldn't matter too much if someone starts making their quality, their content high quality, or changing what they do, so long as you still have that connection with the person, you know, with the filmmaker. And I think any good filmmaker has a connection with their audience, so it shouldn't be a problem. I suppose it's when that's lost that you feel like you can't relate to the person anymore, and it's not as enjoyable. So yeah, for us, it's just about, you know, maintaining the story that we were telling before and being able to have a connection with the audience.